Junkman's Daughter by Sonia Levitin and illustrations by Guy Porfirio. When we were still in the old country, every night, Papa told my brothers and me about America. You will see, Hannah, Papa says. The streets are made of gold. Then everyone in America must be rich, I says. We'll be rich too? My little brothers, Manny and Morris, jumped up and down. Can we buy a bicycle? Will we have our own house and even a dog? Papa laughed and says, we will see. He turned to Mama. Bring plenty of empty sacks to America so we can gather up the gold. Of course, Mama says, plenty of sacks. And she went on knitting. Relatives came to say goodbye. Grandmother Lucy pinched my cheeks. In America, you will be a famous dancer, Hannah, she says. People will throw coins up onto the stage. Who needs coins in America? I replied. There are streets of gold. Quite so, Hannah, Grandmother said, wiping her eyes. Uncle David pointed to Manny and Morris. In America, he said, these boys will be famous. Manny will be a doctor. Morris will be a lawyer. Don't worry about them. We don't worry, Papa said with a grin. On the big day of leaving, everybody came to say goodbye. Be well, they called. We'll meet again someday. We traveled very far, very long, on a bus, a train, a ship. At last we arrived in America. I saw very tall buildings. I heard the grinding and groaning of cars and buses. People rushed and pushed against me. I wondered, are they all looking for gold? Where's the gold, Papa? I asked. We will keep our eyes open, Papa said, but his face looked stern and tired. Papa rented a tiny apartment with 2 rooms and a fire escape. He bought 3 old chairs. We took turns sitting in them. My brothers and I slept on a mattress on the floor. We ate potatoes and onions and potatoes. Mama spent the whole day knitting shawls and sweaters to sell to people on the streets. Hardly anyone stopped to buy. I wandered about the streets looking for gold. I peered behind trash bins. I bent down and traced the cracks in the sidewalks with my finger. I looked along the trolley tracks and behind the peddlers' carts in the outlets. There was no gold anywhere. Papa needed work. Back home, he was a teacher. But here in America, there were enough teachers. Besides, Papa did not speak English. Winter came and we were cold. Even the scarves and sweaters that Mama knitted did not keep us warm. Papa walked round and round, his head down. What can we do? He said. We need food and coal. The children need shoes. Mama boiled water for tea. Be patient, Abram, she says. Things are going to get better. I went to him and I shouted, You lied to us, Papa. Where are the streets of gold? Papa jumped up. I lied? How can you say this to your Papa? I told him angrily, I have looked everywhere and there is no gold. That night, Papa and Mama talked for a long time. I heard Papa say, maybe we should go back to the old country. No, Mama says. This is our home now. We will find a way. We must keep our eyes open. The next day it snowed. Papa said, I will walk with you to school, children. I can keep you warm under my coat. Manny and Morris and I put on our caps and mittens and sweaters that Mama had knitted. We set out, trying to fit under Papa's coat. I felt Papa shivering, and he did not look at me. I will never forget that day. The icy wind, the thundering clouds. My hands and feet had no feeling in them. We walked on and on and on. Once Papa sighed. Then he was silent. But something changed. First, the clouds opened. A ray of sun broke through. It shone upon the streets, slick with ice, spreading a soft golden light. Look, Papa, I cried. You were right. See, the streets are of gold. Oh, Hannah, Papa said sadly, I'm so sorry. You were right. Before I lied, there is no gold. Just then, something winked from the slush and snow. I bent down quickly. It must be a penny or even a nickel. I picked up the shiny thing and with my mitten scraped off the snow. Oh, it was only a bottle top. I cried out in a terrible voice. It's nothing but junk. But Manny and Morris began digging through the snow, finding things. They found a bottle, then 2 more. Papa rushed over. He laughed and clapped his hands together. Bottles bring money, he says. Are there more? We dug through the snow and soon we had gathered a pile of things. Milk bottles, soda bottles, tin cans, bent nails, rusty knives and spoons, an old pot with no handle. Papa got a crate from the trash bin and put everything inside. Well, hurry to school now, Papa said. This afternoon we will collect more. Oh, Hannah, we are saved. Later that day, Papa went out. When he came back, coins jingled in his pocket. Mama looked up from her knitting. So you're going into business, Abram? We, said Papa, smiling at my brothers and me. It's a family matter. So it began. Every afternoon, my brothers and I went with my papa to find all the things that people threw away. We filled bags and boxes and carried everything home. The junk filled our small rooms and spilled out into the hall. Mama stopped knitting. We must sort everything, she said. Glass went into one box, metal into another, and paper and rags into another. Bottles went to the glass factory. The paper mill bought paper and rags. Tin cans were brought to the metal shop. We worked late into the night. My back ached from bending. My hands were blackened with dirt. But we were making money, and even Papa put more coins into the large jar on the kitchen counter. At school, I was tired. The teacher called me to her desk. Hannah, why don't you just go to bed earlier? You're falling asleep in class. I learned to keep my eyes open wide to make myself stay awake. After school, I finished my homework quickly so that I could be ready to go to work. But now, Papa had bought a wagon. My brothers and I took turns pulling the wagon through the streets. We looked for treasure in the gutter, at the docks, along the railroad tracks. Farther and farther we walked, pulling our wagon home, piled high with junk. One afternoon, 3 girls from school saw me. One girl wore a coat with a little fur collar. They all had boots and gloves. They pointed out and called out, Junkman's girl! Look at the dirty Junkman's girl! I turned away and would not let them see my tears. That day I found a broken silver cup. Papa did not sell it. This is yours, Hannah, Papa said. We are partners. Ours is a family business. When the jar in the kitchen was full, Papa went to the bank and opened a bank account. A little book showed our deposits week by week. Papa rented a shed to keep all the junk we collected. We spent more time in that shed than we did at home. Soon the wagon was too small. Papa traded it for a push cart, and when the cart was not enough, Papa brought a truck. Slivers of old red paint showed under the rust of the grime. One door had no handle, but it was ours, and we danced around it, clapping our hands. The very next day, Papa said we would not work at all. He took the truck away. Much later, he called to us, Come outside, come and see! There it was, our shiny red truck with brand new tires, and on the side, painted in large letters, were the words, Abram and Family. Papa, we're rich! That's how it is in America, said Papa. Streets of gold, Mama and I said, both together, laughing. And that's how it was when we came to America, long ago. The end.
I like that book, Dad.
It's pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.